Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's been a long time coming, but welcome to the final stream of 6APC. I feel like this has been a very long awaited rest or long awaited end to a project that we spent way too much time on. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Project Hexagon channel. My name is Gami Crayola. Joining me in the commentary booth is the executive committee or the executive council behind 6APC. Of course, myself, Perry Crayola, Willem, and Mirage Fire. You probably know Mirage Fire as the guy in all the pool showcases. You probably know Perry as the one that's actually doing all the work of the tournament. And Willem, you probably don't know too much, you know. He's commentated a few maps here and there, but most of their work is behind the scenes. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I am so happy to be here. But let's hope that this stream doesn't take more than 40 minutes, because when we last did this a year and a half ago in EQX, it took us half an hour to get through all of that. And I have a lot more to say about this tournament than the last one. Anyways, Perry, would you like to take the mic, say some words before we kickstart the stream?
Not much really. Like, this is just crazy because it's my first tournament and I've been staffing for how long? Almost 2 years now? 2 years now. As Gami calls it, D-ranking and staffing. I don't really agree with that. But
What?
yeah. You said that once. And I was like, fuck you.
Anyways, any last words from the commentary booth before we start off? Thank you, Willem. thank you, Willem. Anyways, oh my goodness. Where do we even begin? I think we can start, of course, with how APC started. Where did this idea come from? I'll be so honest. This entire idea was totally kickstarted by Mei Ling Hong. He messaged me saying, "Hey, do you want to do this like 6-digit reunion thing?" It was after 6WC4. He asked me, "Do you want to do like a round table invitational style, or like a Corsairs close style invitational for 6 digits?" And I thought, damn, that's a great idea for me to ego boost on everybody. It was really funny because you got Philopson and Simabuko in the team as well. And if you know both of them, they are not good friends. But that aside, it was from then on where, it was from then on where, you know, shit was getting pretty stale. Our last project in AQS, Aquatic Skill Cap, is that Aquatic Skill Cap Showdown? Yeah, had just recently finished, and a lot of us, like, you know, really didn't have much to do. We were just kind of hanging, chilling here and there. So then, you know, Perry, absolute start of, I don't remember if we were dating back when APC was. Were we dating? Oh yeah, we were. So yeah, Perry comes up to me, and then like I tell her, you know, what if we host a 6-digit Asia Pacific we host an Asian version of 6EC. And then we were like, but no, we can't have the Russians play. And it was like, okay, let's make the 6-digit Asia Pacific Cup. That's how the whole name started, and that's where we got the whole region started. And initially, fun fact, the team or the admin team was supposed to consist of me, Perry, and then interestingly enough, Mei Ling Hong, Summer OUO, and SSD. That was supposed to be the main admin team. But eventually, you know, as CDC took the front foot, eventually we sort of had CDC take the main bulk of the tournament. And in doing so, of course, we picked up Mirage Fire and Willem in terms of our secondary admins. I think, Perry, you and Willem at that point you guys were planning something with Antro, right? With the Boba tournament stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it never really went off the ground, so we were kind of thinking of doing it, but then I think I just dragged this guy along every tournament idea I had, so
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Fucking anyway.
And of course, you can't have like, we were talking about poolers, right? And they were like, let's not overcomplicate this shit, let's just get Mirage. And then we got Mirage, and then you got Slave. So that is how APC initially started out, a very funky group chat turned way more overcomplicated and whatnot. And there have been countless discussions with regards to how GFX, with regards to mappers, and a lot of stuff has happened in APC, which I think we can talk about later on. But with that, we can move on to our next topic. And I'm actually pretty interested in hearing this, and I'm quite sure a lot of the audience will be interested in hearing this. But pooling struggles is up next. So, Mirage Fire, I think you know how to spell better than anyone else in this VC. So, would you like to tell the chat a bit about, you know, the internal pooling of 6 APC? Because a lot of changes, I think, went underway in 6 APC.
Yeah, well, as already mentioned before, 6ABC was planned very early, even before CSR and the recent SR rework. So when it comes to pooling struggles, I think the first topic that is pretty apparent is that, yeah, some maps are a little bit crazy hard, but that's because most of the pools were already done very far in advance, so we can run the tournament relatively smoothly. But once CSR hit, it was like, okay, no one really knows how good the players are, so like, let's check out the other tournaments like 60AC who happens before us, or like, I don't know, Zat I think was another tournament.
Yeah.
We can check out those tournaments and see how they do and be like, oh shit, 6 digits is kind of like, for the lack of better
6 digits
words,
booming!
it definitely boomed in one way or another. So yeah, the stats results were not that great overall in 6 digit, and well, we had to review some of our pools, and like they're like, okay, you know what? We can't have things go as the way they are right now. We need to nerf all the pool SRs and whatnot, and we did that. We definitely did that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
What was
we had.
the initial SR, Mirage? What was the initial SR?
I think Grand Finals was. I think the very first discussion, like the very first discussion of 6 APC, was Grand Finals to be 6 stars.
Yep.
Like, no more one being 6 stars, so that means everything else will also be harder. Then we were talked down to 5.9. And
Yes,
I think
it was
after CSR hit, I think after CSR and then also checking out the other tournaments, we nerfed it down to 5.8.
After seeing 6 EUC, I think that was like the main, like that was the snap.
Correct.
Where like all changed.
I think
Yeah.
like I remember APC started when people from previous era could actually stay in rank range to play it. So people like Jerry Jumbo, LSE were like thinking of staying in rank range.
Beankurt, Askaze, yeah.
I remember at the beginning of when we were talking about APC, we were like, Philippines is good, but Singapore still has a lot of players left, and they all got CSR.
Yes.
Yep. CSR.
Yeah. Oh, I was so sad. I was so sad.
So like genuinely, like that's how early the 6 APC started, because we genuinely thought we had a really strong player base going into this tournament. I think for me, like as someone who plays 6 digit after CSR, I kind of realized pretty early on that I was kind of screwed. Because when I realized that I was like one of the better players in the rank range and I couldn't play half these pools, I was like, shit.
But yeah.
I think we all remember that.
I think maybe on the topic, Mirage, if you don't mind, maybe share a bit about the customs situation that we came into halfway through production of the tournament.
Customs, huh? Okay.
This is a really long conversation.
Oh.
This conversation is really old.
I mean, at first we had like a lot of Grand Finals customs. Like, I think there were I don't remember like which one are the first, but like definitely Kokoyu, JRE, like the number 4 and number 6 respectively were some of the first. Proteus number 5 was also very early, and they were like, you know.
Yes.
Since I already mentioned, like we were playing for 6 stars, so like I told them, hey, you can go crazy. And,
Just
like,
map 6 stars, yeah.
you can map for 6 stars, and then like the first nerf hit, I'm like, okay, you know what, 5.9 sounds better. Sorry, it's just a small nerf. Ain't no biggie, right? And then another nerf came. It's like, sorry, we have to go down to 5.8, and yeah, the custom situation was quite a topic for sure. There was a lot of nerfs that we had to ask for, and honestly, I still feel kind of bad about it. But yeah, as you can, as most of our players can probably tell, like the customs are still pretty difficult to say the least, based off of the previous score in Philippines versus China. Yeah, they were pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I think when we first got our mappers in, like we were really excited about the mapper lineup we had, and I still think it's crazy how we got some of these mappers in.
Kokoyu!
I think it was like
and Arushi.
Kokoyu, Arushi, and Titi. I mean, we didn't even know Titi was Okay, some context. I got Titi because he made a meme map for a community I was part of a couple years
MCSR?
back, CSR, and I just got him in because I just thought it'd be funny, right? And then Spawny pulls up and goes, "Yo, Titi's like one of the best mappers right now." I'm like, "Shit, what have I done?"
Yeah, yeah. Our initial mapper lineup was definitely something. If I had to, I mean, and that's not even taking into account like the great people that we had. Nomi Nomu, Vertical Dude, like a bunch of really good people came in to help us with APC, and that was something that I was really happy about. But I think one important thing to note, and maybe this can tie in later to the when we talk about CDC as a whole, is the changes that went underway because of the struggles in 6 APC. I think um our pooling structure has changed a lot. If any of you, I don't think anybody in chat is, but anybody who has been in EQX or
Oh no.
AQS and then moved to 6 APC as a playtester would have seen the changes. So I'm thinking like Emerald Ages, thinking like Floofy, all of our tenured playtesters would have seen the change in our pooling structure. We went from not having a very good system when it came to custom maps. Like, wait, what's the main issue, Mirage? It was like, a lot of people were giving us custom maps when we already had the pool figured out, and you know, it was difficult for us to slot stuff in, and there was a lot of communication issues, correct?
Kind of. At least in EQX, I would say that's sort of the thing. In AQS was slightly different, but I think in general our old system was a little bit nearsighted, I
Funky.
guess, or like very direct in a bad sense. And like for example, like right, AQS Grand Finals Tiebreaker. It's an awesome song. It's an awesome map, but like every mapper was doing like their own part. It was like individually instead of sequentially, like looking at what the other
Right.
mappers did. And I think I can definitely say that for sure. That for example, our Grand Finals tiebreaker for 6 APC was a lot more like well structured in like mapping as well. Because like, well, again, we did it sequentially instead of like individually, so it wasn't like a solo focus. So it made the
Yeah.
map more comprehensive as a whole.
Yeah. And like, well, even our pooling sheet, I think William can tell you more about this, but there were some huge changes that went into our CDC's pooling sheet out after 6 APC. William, you wanna take the mic?
Yeah, I do think Mirage ended up being the one implementing a lot of it because he knew what he needed best. But yeah, we added, we just modified a version of Hitomi's sheet to add a bunch of new features. Just for,
Customization.
yeah, that's sort of just.
It's like a glossary, right? Where we could have skill set stuff we can mark down, and there's this really well made graphic by Mirage on the sheet where it just tells you what's pulled, what skill set everything is, and there's a lot of toggleable things. And honestly, it's a really big change. And we're definitely very thankful. I think it was also in 6 APC where we had our discussion with Shiv. I don't know if you guys know, but Shiv, not member of TCOM, but member of OWC pooling, head pooler of OWC, he definitely gave us a lot of direction when it came to how we wanted to organize and take pooling from then on. And I think that heavily changed and impacted the way that we're not just doing 6 APC now, but how we're doing 6WC in the future. And not just about that, right? The playtesting system, huge changes have been going there, a lot more focused, a lot more purposive playtesting in the sense that everybody has a role. You play this skill set, you try out this array of maps, you get this feedback to me based off what you are comfortable with playing. Meanwhile, you have other people with different roles, you know, checking pool balance, different people checking difficulty balance, skill set balance. And it's a lot more individualistic in the sense that everybody has a role and they know what to do. And it's something that we definitely want and definitely hope that more Tony hosts can learn from and organize stuff, because I genuinely think that I want to blow our own horns here, but this is definitely probably the biggest success that CDC has had in terms of our internal like management, and it really made everything a lot more professional. But I mean, did I sum it up right, Mirage? Like, do you have anything else to add?
No, that was perfectly summed up. I think 6 APC in general, at least when it comes to pooling, playtesting, was a lot more experimental compared to like our previous two works of like AQS and EQX, of course. Well, yeah, I think that sums it up
Yeah.
pretty well.
I think one like main thing is that once we got the news that we were doing 6WC, 6APC became some kind of testing ground for a lot of like internal things that we
Right.
wanted to do.
Right.
You can kind of tell which things got tested and which things didn't, because I'll go on about the graphics struggle in 6WC later.
Oh,
But-
hell
Okay.
no!
But like things like pooling and playtesting, we got a chance to try and test out in 6APC. But things like, I think a lot of the custom map management, a lot of like graphics and technical stuff didn't get tested in APC, and that's going a lot worse than some other stuff. But
Right. Mhm.
yeah, that's kind of what's
Yeah.
happening.
I think it also has to do with like the mode in which we're working with 6WC, because with 6WC we're working, of course, with a lot more we're working a lot more large scale. We're upscaling our entire production, so there's a lot of things that are still bumpy, at least internally with 6WC. But at the end of the day, everything's a learning experience, right? I don't think any host could have prepared for at least the scale, especially if you are doing things at the scale of a World Cup. There's a lot of things that a host can't necessarily prepare for, and well, you guys will see what the product is when it comes out. Anyways, was a very long talk about pooling, as expected. Let's get into a pretty interesting topic. Let's talk about regrets going into 6APC. Perry, do you wanna start this off?
Oh my god. I don't really know. Like, I think the main regret coming like out of 6APC is kind of not being able to like run extra stuff as well. So we wanted to do a lot more stuff that we ended up not being able to do, such as interviews.
Right.
We had some pre-tourney events that we weren't organized ahead of time. So some smaller things that we definitely should have probably planned ahead of time. And I feel like for both Gami and I, we just weren't prepared to like run the extra things. We were prepared to like let the tourney run in its full length. We both have experience in running a basic tourney, but I think my main regret is not actually putting in the effort to make those extra things happen. Obviously,
Right.
some of the things we planned for interviews got taken up by Wooden Pickaxe. Thank you so much.
I love you, Wooden.
But I think, like, on my end, I definitely would have liked the chance to get better at that sort of stuff as well.
Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things, right, where you take a good tournament or basic tournament to a great tournament, right? It's the differentiation between these two things. And APC, for the record, I think I can comfortably say that it is at least there when it comes to its standard. Like it could probably match maybe the first 6WC, sure, right, in terms of production value. Not a high bar, but it is a bar to be met. But there was a lot of things that, yeah, Perry mentioned. We really had our sights taken away because of the 6WC announcement going into 6APC, and a lot of, like, as you mentioned, right, the PTEs, a lot of the extra things that we wanted to do, a lot of these things weren't well thought out of, and that's why they never really got put into practice, or at least not put into practice the exact way that we would have liked them to. Mirage, do you have anything to add? Any regrets from your end?
Definitely a few regrets. Well, aside from obvious like difficulty balance in our pools, but overall, I don't have that many regrets, to be honest. I just wish I could have done grand finals a little bit better, I guess. I'm not entirely satisfied with it. Like, I think it's fine, but like it's definitely like I think the previous rounds were a little bit better, like as a pooler perspective at least. But that's kind of oh, go ahead.
No, go for it.
Yeah, the early rounds, at least in my opinion, from as a pooler, of course, I'm not a player, but the early rounds I think of 6APC went pretty well, at least in terms of like skill set balance and whatnot. So, like, compared to the other pools that I've done in the past in EQX or AQS, I think the early rounds of 6APC were pretty balanced.
Yeah. What about you, from a technical standpoint?
I guess I have quite a few regrets about how everything was organized on the back end, right? Because One of the
Oh.
big issues in this cheating economy is that there aren't really a lot of good like sheet templates to use, right?
Wow.
If you're involved with cheating, you know that Hitomi's templates have been poofed, and don't tell anyone, but I'm not really the biggest fan of Stout Lord's templates.
What?
Um,
What?
So, for 6APC, I decided to do a lot of the sheeting template stuff in-house. So, Perry and I made a ref sheet, which we tested out in AQS. I don't think we made too many modifications for APC. The main thing we did for APC was making a new like admin sheet to manage registrations, team submissions, and that sort of stuff. And I mean, it started out okay, but as time went on and as I got busier with other stuff, it just became
Yeah.
super messy, right? So hopefully for 6WC we should have a more refined and polished system for that, but we will see. The other
When
stuff
the
is
sheets
just-
start getting made, right? When the sheets get start getting made.
surely.
Yeah.
The other thing is just I just didn't get enough time to test a lot of the stuff that I wanted to test, both from like shooting perspectives and some other miscellaneous stuff. Mainly just currently we're still working on a new version of our ref sheet with a bunch of other features, and I just wasn't able to get them done in time to test them out in APC, which is unfortunate, but I'm sure we'll find some other time. But yeah, that's mostly just organization on back end and just not being able to test as much as I would have liked.
I guess to round it off, I don't really have much regrets doing 6APC apart from hosting 6APC. I mean, what? Well, I think my main, if I had to choose one thing that I regret kinda, but not really, is probably talking about the overall player base. But there are pros and cons to this, right? Even though the player base is small, one thing that I'm very happy about is that the player base was honestly very united, and a lot more united than I thought. It was a very homely space, and I think that's in part due to the pretty small player base that we have. Thanks to everybody for watching the stream. Other than that, yeah, no, not really any big regrets from me. If I another thing would probably just be, you know, losing track of APC once 6WC, or once we got the announcement for 6WC out. That was probably a big regret for me. But we live, we learn, and we get scolded by our girlfriends when that happened. But yeah, don't want to hold you guys for too long. So let's move on to I believe our last of the CDC questions, and this is a more general thing because 6APC was kind of the breeding ground of Project Hexagon and CDC before, right? CDC only became a real thing when 6WC was announced, and when we announced that okay, Project Hexagon will be taking over this tournament or this project, cough cough. And it was in 6APC where we decided to finally start doing our branding. That's why you see in our banners, in our all of our product placement, you always see our logo there. And yeah, that is where CDC finally became a proper group. It's not something that a lot of people know about, and it's not something that we really do an amazing job publicizing because we're lazy. But essentially, for everybody, CDC became a group of individuals who were pumped in doing more than just regular tourney hosting, right? Because anybody can host a tournament, any other admin team can host a tournament, but the fact of the matter is, if you want to go the extra mile, it's more than just being able to make a ref sheet. It's more than just being able to make admin or main sheet or whatnot. It's talking about, okay, how do we look at this problem? How do we improve this? How do we do this problem correctly? And then how do we make this problem better? It's about talking about things like, you know, pre-tourney events. How are we gonna do pre-tourney events? How will we treat our staff? How will we treat our staff? How will we make sure that everybody feels included? How do we make sure that everyone's working efficiently? And then on the flip side, right, it's about things like how do we manage our customs, how do we manage our custom songs, how do we manage sponsors. If we're talking about internal connections, is there anything special we want to do with the tournament? Do we want to, do we want to, you know, like I said before, right, pre-tournament events, how do we want to look at our forum posts? What exact graphics do we want to do? How will we publicize our tournament? It's all about these additional things that you normally wouldn't see any other, you know, run-of-the-mill tournament go through. And that's what CDC is here to do, right? To have a pseudo admin team that does more than what that does more than what the typical tournament is expected. I mean, it's very evident in the fact that CDC, which was a group that was started by how many people was it? How many people was it, Perry?
I mean, it's not just like the four of us. Even if it's not the four of us, then it's like six of us from EQX.
Yeah, CDC fundamentally started in EQX, like the team. It consisted of me, Perry, Woam, Mirage, and Renyo, and technically Munamu, but Munamu doesn't really count. And then in APC, we brought Aquatic in as our seventh member, and that was the team. That was the entire team for a while. But it was during CDC, right, where we had
APC.
gotten so many. Oh, sorry, yeah, during APC, where we got so many people involved, right? I think currently our team is what, almost 15 people strong, 15, 16 people strong. And we've properly separated ourselves into proper departments, into proper not communities, but you know, comms, which allows us to have better control over what we do. You know, for example, Perry's head of hip, I'm head of technical, Mirage is head of hip pooling, and Renyo, who's not here with us, head of front end management. That's a enigma, but it is in fact the hardest job to do in CDC. But yeah. I think if there's one thing I need to thank APC for, is really giving us the space and giving us the direction to think deeper into how we will 面对 future tournaments moving forward. 面对 means like how we will face future tournaments moving forward as a team. And definitely I'm extremely proud with how we've organized ourselves in CDC as more than just, you know, a standalone council or standalone admin team. And yeah, I'm very thankful for that. Perry, or I guess Mirage, right? Because you're the co-host of CDC. Do you have anything to add?
I mean, you kind of went through the CDC history already, or like the core development committee.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Where does the CDC name come from, guys?
Well, that's a very long story. Back in our days in EQX. Okay, now I'm not gonna go through the story again, but yeah. I think this is a pretty... How long has it been since EQX already? I think...
A year.
A year and a half?
Yeah.
No, not a year and a half. EQX ended early June.
Oh, so
okay,
roughly about a
then
year then. Yeah, it's been so long already. It's kind of crazy, actually.
There is a reality where CDC would have been without me and Woam, and you would have had Shiroi and Shirex instead of me and Woam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Crazy timeline.
It's definitely a crazy timeline. I still remember Gammy asking in the chat, like, "Hey, can we pick up Perry and Woam?" In the chat. Yeah, that is my reaction actually. That who are these people? But yeah.
Yeah. I'm just so happy to finally work more with you guys as a team and work with the overall CDC and grow it to the community that we have now, and that's something that I can be very proud of. Okay. Anyways, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we will jump straight into our questions. I'm sure a bunch of you have, not a bunch of you, but quite a few of you have sent in questions with regards to everything. The first one I'm gonna respond to is Frederick, talking about triple comms. I think the TriCast is really cool. It's a really good idea, especially for bigger matches. The only issue is that if the match is not interesting, the TriCast kind of eats shit. But then again, you have the counter argument, right, that the TriCast is good because it gives commentators to like find time to think about what they need to say. I think the TriCast is also very good just to sort of foreground a lot of your play-by-play or your color casts. And yeah, I think the TriCast is good, and we'll definitely CDC will definitely be looking to do more TriCasts in the future, or organized TriCasts. And for everybody who's uneducated, TriCast is or a organized TriCast is where you have one person who does both play-by-play and color, and they're the mediator. Then you have one person who only there's one person who only talks in between maps, and that's the color cast or the analyst. And then you have one person that only talks when the map is playing, and those are the play-by-play commentators. So yeah, those are the hype men or the hype casters. So yeah, that's my take on the TriCast. Not sure if there was a 6 EC2, but would there be another iteration of 6 APC? Very good question, Camus Marco. No. It's tough, right? It's tough. One thing's for sure, or one thing I can be almost certain of, APC2, if it were to happen, it will not happen because of CDC. CDC, our current timeline is very packed because of 6WC, and it's not really realistic for us to do 6 APC again. And 6 APC had its ups and downs, and there were a lot of things there were a lot of struggles that we had because we just lacked the player base. So unless I get some miracle awakening or some shit, 6 APC2 probably won't be hosted by Project Hexagon. But hey, if anybody wants to take it up, I mean, I'm not saying anything, but well, anyways, after this, were there any last-second emergencies or issues that happened behind the scenes that isn't public? You mean like this stream right now was planned 30 minutes before because we were too busy watching Minecraft speedrunning?
I made the graphic like 5 minutes before, and if you can't tell, we're changing the fucking text live, and the font isn't the correct font.
Don't worry about it.
So, you might see some. Okay. In all seriousness, like this is like our definition of last minute bad issues is probably way better than the other tournaments, because like we don't have any last minute pool changes. We don't have any people putting in tiebreakers 5 minutes before the full showcase.
Whoa! No call out.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. We also don't have there's like a lot of things. I think we had things go wrong, but like it doesn't seem that bad if you're not in our shoes. Also, because I'm the type of person to panic if something doesn't happen on time correctly. Jeremy knows this because I yell at him, and like if he doesn't do it in like 5 minutes, I'm like going to his house and bombing it or something.
What the?
Whoa! And I think like the reason why our issues aren't that bad is just because this team has worked with each other for a year already, non-stop consistently. Like, there is not a single week where I do not join VCs with at least one of these guys to talk about how Helldivers is a game.
No way!
No
way!
Right. Like we have a lot of chemistry as a team, and it was kind of like AQS, right? AQS was sort of a no issues tournament because we just know what to do. And it's
also,
and if there were issues, right, it will come from the additional stuff that we do. Terry?
I know everyone's working habits at this point. Like,
ouch.
I'm sorry, Gabby, but like, I know if Mirage says he's gonna do something, he's probably gonna do it like within like very quick, because he writes down lists. Wilhelm, he's either like completely on it, and he does it either in 5 hours or in 5 weeks. There's no in between. There's no in between. Gabby, I tell him to do something, he says I'm gonna do it now. I wake up 7 hours later, he still hasn't done it.
Yeah. Oh my god.
You know how everyone works. Like, it's really easy to just like, you know who to rush, you know who to talk to when you need something done.
Ouch. Yeah, and
I'm
that
sorry,
comes
Gabby.
from synergy. And yeah, anyways, Mirage, Wilhelm, do you guys have anything that you want to talk about or bring to light?
Regarding the last second emergencies, right?
Yeah.
Not really. Again, from pooling side, there's like the biggest emergencies were just nerves at most. Like, oh, playtesters said, oh, this is too hard, and we had to nerf it, and that's kind of about it. And even then, it wasn't like last second emergencies. It was like 3 days or like a week in advance emergencies.
Yeah, and I'm very grateful for that. Anyways, moving on. Missing No asks, any plans on hosting more region-based? No.
What?
No.
Oh.
No, we are not hosting any more region-based. Well,
okay,
not
no,
in the foreseeable
no.
future,
Here's
right?
the thing. No. Well, Gabby means is that we're not hosting in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, we're not gonna host any regional stuff in the foreseeable future because, as much as I love 6APC, the player base is definitely not the player base, and I guess the who interacts with us is definitely limited, and especially because we're looking to be more experimental with our stuff. Unless we get the opportunity to do maybe Dutch Open or some shit like that. I really cannot guarantee that we will want to do a tournament in this style where it's like a very basic, a very basic tournament with not many gimmicks, and make it a region lock tournament because we just don't find that challenging and interesting enough. Your second part of the question, maybe those introducing a tournament gimmick. We're definitely open to tournament gimmicks. We have talked a lot about being very experimental with our stuff. One of which does include laser tournaments. No, 6WC will not be laser, but there's definitely a lot of ideas that we have. We just don't have the time to. We just don't have the time to do it. One thing to note about CDC is that we have a very long runway. When it comes to all of our tournaments, it takes at least 4 months to get a tournament to its forum post, and that's why if you compare us to other hosts, say maybe people like name drop. Oh, Foxy, yeah, that guy.
Oh my.
I mean, if you compare us to the other hosts, right, where you see them as an admin for a bunch of tournaments, we operate very differently and we operate a lot more slowly and meticulously. In between every tournament is a whole nother level of discussion, a whole nother level of discourse about debates over everything from pooling and whatnot. So that really is the issue when it comes to hosting region-based or like stuff that we don't really find the most exciting to host. What are the future pooling and screening plans now that you are... Okay, so first off, 6WC will have a free mod 3. Next question.
No.
Screening plans, all I can say is your host's a D ranker, buddy. Screening plans, probably we are looking to crack down a lot. Well, we are looking to engage in some outside help when it comes to what do you call that? Suspicious account screening, because 6WC is known for that shit. But other than that, there's nothing really that I want to disclose at this point. What's your plans, ideas on hosting 6WC 2025? We have some interesting stuff planned for 6WC. All I can say is that if you did a GFX forum, you would know that we have a festival theme. What that means exactly, I will not disclose right now.
I need to head out.
Disclose. Wait. I will not disclose right now.
I need to go. I'm gonna get fucking murdered.
Perry is crashing out. Perry is crashing out. Anyways,
I'll write a long announcement later. See you guys.
Oh, okay.
Perry.
Oh, GG.
And there she
Well,
goes.
there goes my co-host. Anyways, yeah, plans on hosting. So we have a festival idea for it. It's gonna be very elaborate, and yeah, it's a whole thing. But yeah, at the end of the day, there's not really much that I can disclose about 6WC 2025, and at least when it comes to the ideas. But there is going to be a lot more to expect from 6WC outside of the tournament itself. Okay, that's how I'm gonna put it. There's gonna be a lot more that's happening outside of the tournament, and we are planning on using the platform for 6WC to try a lot of things, a lot of experimental ideas that we don't think have ever been experimented or tried with. Obviously with 6WC or the past iterations, but of course all the World Cups coming, all the World Cups, say 5WC, 4WC, 3WC, we're looking to try new things, and we're looking to bring new things to the tournament scene with the opportunity that 6WC gives us. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say with regards to that. Anyways, let's see if there's any questions from chat that isn't who impregnated me. The answer is Perry. Jokes aside, which team do y'all want to win the most? South Korea, because they had Gasol, and I love OC champion. Wait, hold on. Gabby, tell me the story where I didn't even know. Oh yeah, that was just when Prody didn't know who I was, despite being a avid 6WC player. And it was really funny. It was a very funny incident. But yeah, if there are no more questions from the chat, I think we can move into the final section of our closure stream, and this will be
Crying
last
section.
words. No, I'm not crying in this stream.
Okay,
Woam, would you
Right.
wait? Would you like to begin, Woam?
Me, I mean, I will start by saying, yeah, you probably haven't seen me a lot during APC, and I haven't done as much actively for APC as I would have liked, but despite that, CDC has obviously come so far as a group, and it's just so enjoyable to spend like doing work with the people, with your closest friends and stuff like that.
Aww.
So I just want to say thank you so much, everyone, and also obviously thank you so much to all the players that made this tournament as exciting. Well, question mark exciting.
What?
As
Wow, I
it
hate
was.
Philippines.
Whoa.
And also just I will be hopefully you will see a lot more of what I will do in 6WC, but you will just have to wait for that, I guess. Thank you,
Our
everyone.
unsung hero, will honestly, like literally the most underrated CDC member. I think you don't see his work like Aquatic when it comes to videos. You don't see his graphics when it comes to Zeth. Everything really when it comes to managing ref sheets, like doing all the nerdy shit that nobody wants to do. That's all WoM.
Hey, anyone
And-
want to learn HTML and like work for me? Thanks.
and none of this is possible without WoM. So yeah, huge ups. Mirage.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Since it's my turn, thank you to all the players who've like played our pools. Obviously, I hope you actually enjoyed most of them. I thought, well, again, I thought they were pretty fine from my own perspective. Even though I should
Fine.
probably not be saying it for my like myself, but yeah, we definitely will need to like revisit some of the more difficult maps in the pool, and hopefully fix some of the pooling habits about the difficulty judgment in 6WC. But I hope you continue to support us pooling team in 6WC as well. I don't think the pooling structure itself will change too much, so you will see a lot of skill set diversity in between rounds and in the rounds itself. That is one of my highest priority as a pooler. And yeah, if you liked our way of pooling, I hope you continue to support us. If you didn't, then I hope I can impress you in 6WC at least.
Oh, so many surprises, Mirage. So many surprises.
But yeah,
many
thank you everyone for your support. Thank you to all the playtesters as well who you know, playtested our pool intensively throughout like I don't know 12 weeks I think, or 10 weeks, something around that. Each pool was tested 2 weeks, so it's a pretty long process. And of course, huge shout out to all the mappers as well for working with us in the pooling process as well, having to nerf, buff, or adjust their maps, etc., and holding onto their deadlines. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man. Pooling has come such a long way with 6WC, hasn't it? With CDC. The whole Shiv, I will never forget the whole Shiv interview or the Shiv discussion that we had. That shit was unreal.
That shit
yeah,
was
of
really
course,
good. Yeah.
that shit, bro, guys, if you want our genuine feedback on how to improve as a staff or as a host, ask hosts, ask people who have done shit for the community. Like, they're all super nice. If you want to know how to message a commentator. Ask. Maybe not T1G. Maybe ask like Stat Shiba.
Ask Camille.
iFlame.
Ask
Ask me. I love. I'm so shit at comms. It's not even funny. If you want to learn how to cheat, you know, there's a bunch of people who are involved. Like read and ask around. Like it's genuinely. I feel like a huge issue that 6-digit hosts run into is that they don't have the platform and they're too afraid to reach out, and that's something that needs to change. Really, because there are a lot of things that can only be picked up through learning from other people and learning from more experienced people. So if any hosts are interested in really learning more about hosting or learning how to host a not just good but a great tournament, do reach out and ask, get opinions, not just from your friends but from a whole wide range of people. Anyways, with that, we come to the end, right? This is me. Uh, last time I gave this speech, it was like 10 minutes long, so probably hope that it won't take that long. So here we go. I will be completely honest. When we were going through 6 APC, part of me wanted to sort of drop 6 APC as a whole, like hosting, right? I was really discouraged because of CSR. I was really afraid of the competition. I was really afraid of Philippines, slash half joking, and at the end of the day, I look back and I think, well, probably I would have still regretted it, and I'm probably only rethinking this because it's the end of it all. And at the end of the day, yes, CDC has progressed so much. I think back, maybe 6 APC wasn't the right tournament to host. Maybe we could have tried something more experimental. Maybe we could have done something crazier. But but when the dust settles, when all is said and done, 6 APC, I can say with quite a lot of confidence, at least from a hosting standpoint, was a success. We didn't have an FF in Grand Finals. We didn't have an EQX incident. We didn't have a 62 matches incident. And overall, the tournament went very, very smoothly, at least from a host perspective. Yes, there were ups. Yes, there were downs. But at the end of the day, that's just part and parcel of hosting. And especially when you are a member of CDC or when you're hosting with us, you don't typically have that many opportunities to really fuel a tournament community. And the fact that everybody in this tournament community have been very open, very accepting. I haven't had a single bad issue with someone saying the N-word in chat or someone being obnoxious in chat, give or take, a few incidents here or there. I haven't had people being rude to each other when it comes to scheduling. And I'm just so incredibly grateful to all the players for making this tourney hosting experience an enjoyable one. And that's really that's really what's important at the end of the day, right? When with regards to what happens in Grand Finals, do I ever regret my screening decisions? No, not really. I'm not really one to regret. I'm not really one to have many regrets going into things. So even though Philippines does Philippines things, I honestly expected it to be worse with Ziggs. So yeah, what can I say? But with that, I think that's all for me when it comes to just talking about the tournament itself. I like to personally shout out quite a few people. We first have our refs, Christria, Depressive, GS Break. These three alongside, I'm sure I'm missing one person. Oh, Wooden Pickaxe, but we'll get to it later. And Cubitive. More in particular, Depressive, our newest and youngest member of Project Hexagon, coming out of 6 APC and just being such a great help with making our defaults and all of that stuff. Huge shout outs to Depressive. Shout outs to Wooden Pickaxe as well. Such an enjoyable commentator with such good energy. A team player, very, very good team spirit all around. And I really, really appreciate everything Wooden Pickaxe has done for 6 APC. I remember getting Wooden in for EQX and, us not really having that good of a connection. But I think what he has done from 6 APC is something that I didn't expect and I'm eternally grateful for. So, huge ups to Wooden. GS Break as well, underrated as hell. Despite not being very vocal, they are part of the reason why we had 100% stream coverage, or almost 100% stream coverage for APC. And yeah, streaming would not be streaming without GS Break. As well as Frawon, the 6EC admin turned CDC member as well. Huge shoutouts to them for being a huge help when it comes to managing all the streams. Huge help when it comes to, just overall being a very good voice of advice when it comes to, not just stuff that happens in APC, but stuff that happens in CDC as a whole. And he's been really great to have. I'm sure Wilwam can attest to that, right? Frawon, a really great addition to CDC overall, and I'm so happy that we have him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Shoutouts, of course, to Aquatic for all of the hard labor that he has put into the tournament. Probably on paper, the most additional work that's been done for a tournament, all coming from Aquatic, and it all started from Delusions. Very, very solid stuff, and you guys should look forward to what he has prepared for 6WC, because Aquatic, when he has time, is insane. Of course, I'm gonna go to just overall CDC in general for just being very, very good in terms of managing here and there. A lot of the CDC members that have come in were sort of last minute additions, so they didn't really have much to do with 6APC, but in terms of the community, in terms of at least managing for 6WC to moving forward, definitely a huge help. I need to blitz through the last few people. Of course, no, the Project Hexagon is in or APC is in no short thanks to Mirage, Fire, and Wilhelm. Both of you, in both of your aspects, are completely underrated, and thank you both so much for being just amazing at what you do. I don't think anybody can replace especially Mirage Fire in how much work he puts in organizing playtesters, organizing customs, playtesting customs, in being the hit pooler. In general, Mirage is such a well-oiled machine, and I don't know where CDC would be if not for Mirage being there with me from the very beginning. My first co-host and the co-host of CDC in general. Huge ups to Mirage Fire. Wilhelm, of course, doing all the hard labor that nobody wants to do, developing all your sheets. I mean, huge ups to Wilhelm, and of course your commentary. I love your commentary, dude. Best color cast in recent times. I said it here. But of course, at very last, unfortunately she is not here, but my partner in hosting, my partner in life, thank you so much to Perry Crayola for everything she has done for me in this tournament. I have not been well, it sounds like I was a terrible person. No, I have not been the most like on target host, I will admit, in 6APC, and there was a point in 6APC where all my attention was in 6WC. We were not getting anything off the ground in 6APC despite forum posts being out in a month, and Perry really helped ground me and really helped gave me direction when it came to managing the host managing 6WC as a host moving forward. She definitely helped me grow more than just a host or more than just a Tony staff, but as a person, as a whole. So Perry, I don't know if you're listening, but thank you so much for being with me. I have some last words to read out from Perry because she's not here. She would like to thank CDC overall in terms of 6APC. Thank you to Wooden again. She explicitly said that what Wooden has done enriched the community above all else, and what he did made her love staffing again, and it really brought the tournament to a very, very happy and very, very satisfying close. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, it feels weird to be saying this, but the stream is almost an hour long, and I really don't want to make it run over that hour. So thank you all so much for supporting what CDC has done. Thank you so much for supporting what 6APC has done. And going into 6APC, our whole goal was to give people the confidence that we could take over the torch of 6WC with confidence, with pride, and with valor. And we hope that above all else, you guys are satisfied with this tournament, and you guys are excited, especially if you're a player, for what's to come with 6WC 2025. From my perspective, there have been ups and downs in 6WC 2025. You can always ask us about it, but from what I can tell, it will be one of the most ambitious projects of all time, the most ambitious project of CDC. We have a lot of great minds working on it, and I hope that you guys are as excited for what could possibly be the most ambitious 6WC yet to come. As excited for that as I am to present it to you guys. But hey, you guys will have to wait about a month for that. Coming soon, but I gotta get shit for that. I gotta get shit for that. I gotta get the shit done for that soon. Jesus Christ. But yeah, with that, CDC has earned our long-awaited rest. We probably have a month, and then until 6WC all over again. So yeah, we gotta get straight back into it.
The pooling event's
oh my goodness.
Non-stop.
Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. My name has been Gammy Crayola. Joining me in the commentary booth was Perry Crayola, Mirage Fire, and Will Webb. This has been the main council of CDC minus Renyo. And well, any last words from the commentary booth before we close it out for good?
See you in 6WC.
See you in 6WC indeed.
Yeah.
Also, give me some
but,
rest.
well, no. But ladies and gentlemen, until 6WC finally comes, this is our final call and our final closing words for 6APC. Look to the future. Look to the future and expect great things to happen out of 6WC, because we will damn sure make sure that it happens. My name has been Gammy Crayola. This has been Project Hexagon, and we will see you when we do. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.